200 business, professional, and community leaders who unite to improve local and international communities through a common commitment to service above self. For over 113 years, we have welcomed Rotarians and guests to our club meetings, and I welcome you to this, our 5,349th meeting. For those who are attending online, if you are visiting Rotarian or the guest of a Rotarian, please enter your name in the chat box located at the center of the bottom of the screen so that we can recognize you in a few minutes. We also recommend using the speaker view located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If you have comments or want to ask a question of the speaker, please use the chat box. For those of you here in the California Ballroom, I will ask that you do not use your electronic device to watch the meeting on Zoom or connect to the ballroom Wi-Fi. It's always a bandwidth issue, and we need to use the full Wi-Fi in order to broadcast this meeting. As I'm going to say, as most of you know, under current Alameda County guidelines and our club protocols, it is recommended that you wear a mask inside if you are not eating or drinking. I know it's inconvenient and annoying, but we are not through this pandemic yet. I also ask you to refrain from talking during the meeting, as sound becomes background noise on our online broadcast. Now I would like to ask Sedrick Tydus to lead us with the Rotary Vision Statement, our Rotary Club mission statement, and offer a thought for the day. Sed?
Can I keep on that?
Yes.
Okay. First I want to say,
And you should be able to read the vision statement on the monitor up there.
okay. First I want to say I personally love change. Voting rights, Black Lives Matter, COVID protocols, the mask, and Me Too. Change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. All things are difficult before they are easy. Embrace change.
Seth, would you? I guess I will lead us in the vision statement. Do you have that up there, Jack? Start with the international, please. Thank you. Will you please join me with the Rotary Vision Statement? Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Will you also join me with the Rotary Club of Oakland mission statement? We serve people in our Oakland community and throughout the world by advancing world understanding, goodwill, and peace. The Rotary Club of Oakland welcomes people of all backgrounds, cultures, experience, and identities, and we strive for the fair treatment, equal opportunity, and advancement of all Rotary participants to create experiences where all people feel respected, valued, and that they belong. Thank you. So I have the honor today of inducting two members to our Rotary Club. Would Pete, Sandeep, and Deep please join me up here? So I'm going to begin with Sandeep. You may remember that Sandeep joined us last week. And Sandeep comes from 3 generations of Rotarians, but his father is not currently a member and was looking for a club. So Sandeep is going to induct his father today. Sandeep? Sandeep, would you tell us a couple of interesting facts about your father?
Thank you, President Dudley. It's such an honor to be here, inducting my father. I was just inducted last week and I've met so many people from the Rotary already, in the past week than I have in the past year or so. So that's really amazing. As you already, heard, I'm a third generation Rotarian. My father was a Rotary member in Nepal and his father before him, so this is a really, really rare opportunity for me to be able to sponsor him to join the Rotary, and that's the Rotary Club of Oakland. One interesting, or a couple interesting facts about my dad that a lot of people might not know is that he started his professional career at a very young age of about 17 years old. Unfortunately, my grandfather, he passed away when he was very young, and he had to, my dad had to fill in his shoes and, run businesses, our family businesses at a very young age. So he, not only did he, fill his shoes and run those businesses, he went on to put himself through flying school, became a commercial pilot, and then eventually also started a multitude of other businesses in Nepal. So he went on to start his own airline, in Nepal, which was the first publicly traded airline, an insurance company, a water drilling and irrigation company. So yeah, that's a cool fun fact about my dad. Yeah, and I'm totally honored to be here. Thank you.
So some people have been reminding me I did not introduce guests. We'll get to that in a moment. I'm new at this. Give me a break. So I get the honor of introducing Peter Agnoletti. Peter's parents are two of my dearest friends. I've known them for almost 50 years. So I often say I've known Pete since he was a sperm. Two interesting facts about Pete. First of all, Pete became a father on the 5th of July to Giovanna. And normally we would expect him to ring the bell, but because I'm kind of called Uncle Dudley in the family, I would like to ring the bell for Giovanna. So the second interesting fact about Pete is that after he finished college, he went to the University of Colorado in Boulder. He's since gone to law school as well. But after he did that, he worked for a company that put all of the bleachers, all of the TV towers, all of the corporate tents at PGA golf events. And for example, if you ever watch the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, he's the guy who built that entire stadium around the 16th hole, as well as all of the other bleachers. He also did the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines when they were there about 10 years ago. So Pete, welcome to Rotary.
Thank you, Dudley.
Deep and Peter, we're happy that you've chosen to join us, and know that your family and friends are always welcome to join us to participate in our projects and our events. By choosing us, you have accepted the Rotary vision of together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. You also agree to conduct your affairs according to the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I have a red badge for you, both indicating your new member status.
Thank you, sir.
And I also have a club book that includes basic information and history, and the history and the roster of your new 300 best friends. The history book was written by our own member, Linda Hamilton, for our 100th anniversary, and it is sort of a It's a history of the first 100 years of Rotary, and it also gives you a pretty good idea of the history of Oakland as well. I give you a copy of the four-way test, and also your Rotary pin. I'll give it to you later. Bear with me here. Your commitment is to, it identifies you as a Rotarian, and we hope you'll wear it with pride. Your commitment is to attend meetings, participate in service activities, practice service above self, and contribute to the Rotary Foundation and the Oakland Rotary Endowment. It's my pleasure, and it's really a privilege to induct you as the newest members of the Rotary Club of Oakland. Let's all give our newest members a warm welcome to the Rotary Club of Oakland. Thank you. So let's go back here a bit. Ed Shellen, are you with us today? Online or up there? Is somebody going to, do we have any Rotarian guests in the room? Do we have any guests, virtual guests online? We'll introduce guests in the room here in a moment.
President Dudley, we have a lot of guests online, and I will be honored to introduce them to everybody here.
Please do so.
Okay. Hey, everyone. We have Marcus Cook from Capital Corridor. He is a customer experience and marketing programs coordinator in Capital Corridor. Welcome, Marcus. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have Mark H. Fowler from Stove Management Corporation and Revolutionary Conversations, LLC. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. We have Sabik, Sakib, Hashim, Sarah Palito, Michael Knox, Mark Fay, Shane Durkin, Marietta Joe, Agnes Zapata, and they're all here with us. Thank you so much for coming. We have Shane Durkin.
It's like we got more. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sandy.
That's about it. Thank you so much for joining us. Back to you, Dudley.
Fred, can somebody get a mic to Fred?
Yes, and I have three guests too, and they're virtual out there somewhere, so let's see if we can find them. These are Cerrone Lean scholarship students who helped recognize teachers here today that we're going to be honoring. And the first is Juana Mendoza, Victoria Bala, and the third is To Win.
Okay. Mary, do you want to, Robert, do you want to introduce your guest or? Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to introduce a guest from Bart, Aisha Brown, who will answer any questions that I cannot answer.
Thank you. And we have several special guests who will be honored. And do you want to introduce now or just at the time when you will do that in a few minutes? Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so I should always read my schedule and make sure. Okay, is John Holmgren here today?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here virtually.
You're with us online. John, you're here to talk a little bit about Kinder Prep today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for giving me some
Can
time.
you start off, John, telling us how you decided to join Rotary?
I joined Rotary during the reign of Jack McAvoy, and I was invited by the great former President Don Black to appear at a meeting, and he suggested I join Rotary. He pitched it mainly as a way to do business in the community. He said it would be an excellent way to do that. So I attended, intrigued by that notion. But then that day, scholarships were being presented, as they have recently been in our club now, and other great community service activities were profiled. And so I immediately joined the club and gave really no thought to business opportunities. It was all about the great things that Rotary was doing in the community. So that was in the mid-90s that I joined, and I've been a proud and loyal member ever since.
Thank you, John. So you're here today to talk about Kinder Prep. Could you tell us if somebody were to join your committee, what they would be doing?
Correct. Kinder Prep services the transitional kindergarten classes in most of the schools in the Oakland Unified School District. Historically, what we've done is provide field trips to Fairyland and the zoo and Chabot Space and Science Center. We've had classroom volunteers. We have provided gift cards to classroom teachers and so on. We always are looking for ways for members to participate in our activities. Last year, there were not too many ways we could do that. Field trips were not possible. Classroom volunteering was not possible, but we did put together some fantastic virtual learning kits for students. So that gave us an opportunity to get together and do something very positive for the children. This year, I'm looking forward to, we may end up doing that again. We're getting preliminary feedback from teachers that they may want those kits one more time, hopefully one more time. We are still hopeful that we'll have field trips in the spring where we will need Rotarians to be present to help shepherd the children around to the various venues. We're hoping for some opportunities for classroom participation. I'm anxious to establish class liaisons with every single transitional kindergarten class, of which historically there have been 35 to 40. And so I'm hoping we can do that this year. And one of our projects in the past that's been very popular is the summer book program, where we obtain a lot of appropriate books for kids and put a book bag together for them for the summer. That doesn't take place till the spring, but it looks like by popular demand, we may be doing that again this year. So there'll be a lot of opportunities for member involvement in what we do, and I'll be letting everybody know as the year goes on what those are.
I know I've attended many of your meetings this past year getting into this role, but I had never been a member of the committee before, but I've always enjoyed coming and stuffing book bags. It's a great Saturday morning when I don't know what, 50 or somewhere between 50 and 100 of us get together and have a big production line. And it started out as 3 books for 3rd graders, I recall. And also the field trips, there's plenty of opportunities. You don't have to sit through a committee meeting to volunteer. We've done Children's Fairyland and the zoo, I know. I'll probably do them again. And you just have to come and sometimes hand out box lunches. It's just great fun, the activities that you provide the club. Even if you don't join the committee, but you are welcome to join the committee, and I know John would like you to be there. I also know Robert Rayburn. I don't know, that certainly isn't the topic you have today, but you've been a very active member of that committee too. So thank you for all you do. Thank you, John.
Very welcome.
Join the Kinder Prep Committee. Join a committee. We need people engaged this year. We've been trying to present committees, what they do, whether you join the committee or whether you join an activity. And we'll be presenting more committees. Karen and Fred Morse, would you please come up here, and you have some special things to present us with today and some special people to honor.
Wow, it's great to be back in the ballroom. President Dudley, fellow Rotarians. For 75 years or so, Oakland Rotary's Cerrone Lena Scholarship Program has sponsored Oakland students, often the first in their family to go to college. An extremely important part of this process are Oakland's special teachers, who make the success of the students possible. Oakland Rotarians Karen Friedman and Gail Olkema have generously initiated and underwritten these awards again this year. Welcome, Karen and Gail.
Thank you very much. I'm going to begin. On behalf of Oakland Rotary Number 3, Karen Friedman and I are pleased to honor the teachers who were selected by the Serona Lena Scholarship recipients. They were chosen because of their contribution to the success of their students. In appreciation to their dedication, we are pleased to provide each teacher with a stipend for their personal use. It is my pleasure to introduce the first 4 teachers. Mia Irwin Pollard nominated Saqib Hashim, engineering instructor of Oakland High School, for the Teacher Recognition Award. It was difficult for Maya to have confidence in herself, but Mr. Hashim knew that she would succeed because of her humility and resilience. He encouraged her to further her education despite not having sufficient support at school or at home. Melanie Chavez nominated. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, Mr. Hashim is here, so.
Okay. Could we have him present himself so that we can see him? Is he in the audience at the ballroom?
Yes.
Okay. If he could step up. Or
You can go on, Gail.
Gail,
Okay.
keep going on.
all right, thank you. Melanie Chavez nominated her chemistry teacher at Oakland High School, Sarah Polito, because she made sure that everyone understood the material. Her classroom was a fun and welcoming environment where her students desired to learn. Melanie felt Miss Polito's classroom was a safe place where she could share her feelings when she experienced some rough patches. David Wong also nominated Sarah Polito, his advanced chemistry teacher at Oakland High School. David found Miss Polito to be exceptionally kind and understanding. She would notice if a student was not feeling well or was going through some personal issue, and she would offer solutions. Her positive tone and smile created a special environment for students to speak up and bond with her. She encouraged everyone to do their best without judgment. And I have seen that Michael Knox, the next person I'm going to be speaking about, is virtually on. Elijah Weller, thank you for joining us, Michael. Elijah Weller nominated Michael Knox, English teacher at Skyline High School and now assistant principal, and said he was instrumental in changing Elijah's view of English class. He encouraged Elijah to grow as a public speaker and leader. Elijah used this newfound interest to advocate for more school funding at school board meetings. The things he learned in Mr. Knox's class have continued to help him write, speak, and communicate effectively. And now Karen Friedman will introduce the next 4 teachers. Thank you for joining us.
There were 9 students total, and I'll go through the last 5. Ian Pritchlick nominated Mark Fry, Art of Digital Film teacher from Skyline High School. Ian felt that he was truly unique in his ability to connect with students and make learning fun. Mr. Fry taught Ian in his junior year and provided the most welcoming and exciting environment in his entire high school career. In his film class, Mr. Fry gave his students the freedom to create their own experience while blessing them with the knowledge and ability to maintain high quality work. The next student was Daniel Acevedo, who nominated Shane Durkin, Advanced Placement Statistics teacher at Skyline High School. There's Shane. During COVID, he gave his students significant support during the challenge of distance learning. Although Daniela didn't always enjoy math, she was really surprised at the eagerness that she had most mornings to join his class. Mr. Durkin worked very hard to provide encouragement and resources to his students. He would have Zoom meetings with them one-on-one, and he would even arrange for evening meetings with those students who were unable to meet in the mornings. He made learning enjoyable under the most difficult circumstances that we were all in. Thank you, Mr. Durkin. Joe Wynn nominated Marietta Joe, English teacher at Oakland Tech High School. Parenthetically, this is not the first time Ms. Joe was selected by one of our scholars. She teaches a program called Paideia, which has a reputation for being rigorous but very enjoyable. Joe was nervous at first, but after a couple of months eased because of Ms. Joe's warm, welcoming aura and her flamboyant personality. Seeing her teacher be her essential self, that is upbeat, outgoing, and joyful, helped Tove overcome her shy tendencies. Over time, Tove noticed how much she had changed from when she first stepped into class in her sophomore year. The next student was Juana Mendoza Cruz, who nominated Agnes Zapata, English language arts instructor from Fremont High School. And Ms. Zapata is here today with us. Because English is Juana's second language, she dedicated extra effort into reading, writing, and speaking English. Upon entering high school, she met her very favorite English teacher, Ms. Zapata. Her teacher made her realize that reading could be fun. Juana was encouraged by her teacher to enroll in advanced placement English in 11th grade to test herself. Ms. Zapata would meet with Juana for writing conferences where she would help build her confidence in writing. One of Juana's biggest accomplishments was passing the AP English exam. English was a difficult subject for Juana, and throughout her high school years, she improved her skills largely due to Ms. Zapata's help. The last student was Victoria Bala, who nominated Christina Ong, Advanced Placement Computer Science teacher at Oakland Tech High School. As a new student in her junior year, Victoria was made to feel welcome and supported. Then 3 months before the final exam, unexpectedly Oakland Tech shut down due to the pandemic. This was difficult for the students and for Ms. Ong, who had to remotely prepare the students with so little time. In the weeks approaching the exam, Ms. Ong would hold study hall sessions starting as early as 9 a.m. and ending as late as 10 p.m. so that her students would be able to fully learn the concepts. She even created a YouTube channel and worked on practice problems so the students could watch at their convenience. Thanks to Ms. Ong, Victoria and most of the other classmates were able to pass the exam. That's the last student. We want to thank all of the teachers for providing inspiration and encouragement to their students. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Karen. These awards are one of our most special times of the year, and we're so glad that you could join us today. Scott Bohe, would you please introduce our speaker for the day?
Off comes the mask. I was admonished twice at last evening's speakers committee meeting to be brief, but here you're going to get the thing about Robert Rayburn, a really exceptional member of our Oakland Rotary and a person that we can all be proud of. Robert was first elected to the Bart Board of Directors on November 2nd, 2010, representing District 4, encompassing Alameda, most of Oakland, and parts of San Leandro. In 2016, Director Rayburn successfully led Bart's efforts to pass Measure RR, a $3.5 billion bond to rebuild Bart, backed by over 70% of the voters in the 3 core counties. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Robert came to the East Bay in 1979 to study transportation and urban geography at UC Berkeley, where he received a doctorate degree. He has taught geography and urban planning and participated on behalf of the Hispanic voting rights groups in political redistricting plans. So he's been very important in many aspects of Bay Area life and indeed in the United States. But there are a couple other things I'd like to tell you about Robert. This is off script. If you look at his Facebook page, you will see that he is an exceptional cook. And I was stunned by a cherry pie that he held up. And I swear to God, you look at the guy, he was more narrow than the pie. Absolutely amazing. But also his participation in kinder prep is really touching. I had the honor of visiting his classroom, Miss Lee's classroom at Allendale, where he was helping out. We're taking some photos to watch him. And when you see him with the children, these kinder prep children are 4.5, 5 years old, mostly from disadvantaged backgrounds, and the love that he brings and the help that he helps get them started with is, I think, the biggest thing that you need to know about Robert Rayburn. I welcome Robert Rayburn.
Thank you so much, Scott, for those kind words. And I'm grateful that he didn't find some of my Cro-Magnon hairstyles on my Facebook page during the pandemic. I want to thank you for both taking the time today to learn more about Bart and for supporting our transit system over the years. Next slide, please. Bart trains opened their doors in September 1972. During the past 48 years, Bart has been the backbone for the Bay Area transportation system. We're both the lifeline and the lifeblood of the Bay Area's transit network. Never has Bart's importance to the region become more clear than when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Before the pandemic, a lot of us took Bart for granted. The trains always came and almost always on time. But when the virus attacked, there was serious concern about whether Bart would survive to continue service. Next slide, please. I want to take a moment to honor the 9 VTA victims of a mass shooting on May 26th of this year. Like Bart's maintenance workers and train operators, they were true heroes. Throughout the pandemic, they showed up at the job site to keep the system running in Santa Clara County. I hold Bart's maintenance workers in high esteem for good reason. As you can see on this slide,
Hey, Jack, we are not able to hear anything from the ballroom.
about the people who truly depend on Bart. We'll also talk about the impact of ridership on our budget. We'll discuss how we plan to build back our ridership, which you can imagine has taken a hit over the past year. And we'll talk about how we're rebuilding the Bart system. Slide number 4, please. Bart had already begun financial belt tightening when the Bay Area shelter-in-place orders began on March 16th. Normal ridership is about 410,000 people each workday. Not long after the shelter-in-place orders were issued, ridership initially declined to just about 6% of normal. Slide number 5. This slide shows that our ridership has ridership compared to what we had budgeted for. After the shelter-in-place orders, ridership dropped to between 6 to most recently 18 to 21% of our forecasts. Last Thursday, we reached 888,917 riders, the highest ridership since the pandemic began. The return of ridership is likely to follow widespread distribution of the vaccine and population immunity to COVID-19. We expect late summer or early fall as the likeliest timeline, but recovery to post-vaccine new normal may take months, maybe years after this milestone's achieved. We expect a significantly higher rate of remote work even after the pandemic recedes. We don't know how much of our pre-COVID ridership will return or when. Bart can be an enabler of economic recovery in the Bay Area by delivering safe and reliable service. Before COVID, 70% of our riders were commuters. Now that we've implemented a range of COVID-19 related operating measures to keep our workforce and riders safe as possible, we hope to attract back that commuter ridership. Our fiscal year 22 budget remains under pressure because of the precipitous decline in fare revenue and additional COVID-19 related costs. It costs a lot to run long trains for social distancing and to hand out masks and provide the cleanliness that everyone demands. Next slide, number 6. We did extensive research about who has been riding in this pandemic. We learned a lot about our riders. 1 in 4 people said if BART service were not available, they wouldn't have made the trip. 72% of our riders said they were satisfied with our service. That's a significant increase over where we were at pre-pandemic. We've also found that our trains are carrying more people of color, as well as people who make less than $50,000 annually in household income. In 2020, our surveys found 75% of our riders identified as non-white. 50% have a household income below $50,000. That compares to an earlier survey in 2018 where 65% identified as non-white and 26% of our households were under 50,000. My virtual background, for those of you that are watching online, depicts Fruitvale Station. It has led all 36 stations in the East Bay as offices closed and residential workers relied on BART. Slide number 7. Impacts. BART is one of the few transit systems that relies on fares to pay for its operating costs. Historically, over 60% of our revenue came from the ticket purchases. That's the equivalent of about $500 million a year pre-COVID. With the dramatic drop-off in ridership, we're now getting only $60 million a year from the fare box. That's nearly 90% reduction in revenue. Slide number 8, and the budget impacts and what we're doing. With that ridership drop, we've seen significant revenue shortfalls. Approximately $1 billion with a B through 2022, even with our cost-cutting efforts. A ridership recovery is possible in the coming years, especially with the vaccine rollout. However, major risks remain. Timing and the extent of ridership recovery is highly uncertain. In the near term, it's extremely challenging and likely to remain below prior expectations beyond fiscal year 23. To date, BART has received $755 million in federal emergency operating funds. Yesterday, We were allocated $331 million from the new federal American Rescue Plan. And these funds will help ensure that Bart can support the regional economic recovery. Our response, slide number 9. Bart took the fiscally responsible approach. We pivoted quickly. We reduced train frequencies and began closing at 9 p.m. We immediately implemented a hiring freeze. We eliminated nearly 700 vacant positions, plus 137 employees took a voluntary retirement incentive program. We eliminated the scheduled raises for top management and shifted operating employees to capital projects by retraining them to do capital project work. In sum, we reduced our spending by $100 million a year. Thank you. Slide number 10. Bart's capital budget is much less affected by the pandemic than the operating budget. We're using this period of low ridership to accelerate system reinvestment projects that typically could only occur overnight, like earthquake safety work on the Transbay Tube, or would disrupt service, like replacement track interlockings. At left, I'm standing next to a train I rode with workers and equipment into the tube one evening in August. It was great to walk out around 3 a.m. in the morning. It was an experience I'll never forget. There were hundreds of workers down there, and there are every night. Thanks in larger part to funding from voter-approved Measure RR, there are now more infrastructure rebuilding projects happening in the BART system than at any point in the agency's history. Slide number 11. BART has made the most of the reduced service hours. Now that we close at 9 p.m. instead of midnight, track crews have more time to get work done. We call it wrench time. Bart had originally expected to pull 7,000 feet of 34.5 kilovolt cable this past summer. Instead, workers have managed to pull 23,000 feet of new cable. The increased productivity means the project can potentially eliminate 35 future weekends when Bart would have had to delay riders by running single track service. Additionally, our track crews have been able to replace aging rail at a rate of 500 feet per night. Pre-pandemic, they could only do about 100 feet per night. Slide number 12, please. Shortly after the shelter-in-place orders took effect, we adjusted to the drop in ridership. Our trains now run 30-minute schedule as opposed to 15-minute frequencies. However, in June, we added back more frequent service on some peak weekday runs. All trains are 10 cars long to make sure people have adequate social distancing space, thanks to our new cars. BART now closes at 9 p.m. instead of midnight. Slide 13. Because of the vaccine rollout, we began to see riders return in May. To encourage that trend, we're increasing our service, and we're spending those federal dollars. In June, we added 26 trains per day, and we recently announced a bold return to near pre-pandemic service hours beginning on August 2nd. This will expand 15-minute frequencies on the lines with the highest ridership, the yellow, green, and red. Weekday service will be from 5 a.m. to midnight with 15-minute frequencies on all lines between the hours of 5 and 8 p.m. Saturday service will be 6 a.m. to 12 midnight with 5 routes and added trains during the peak hours. We always run peak hour trains when the Coliseum empties out at the A's games or when the Giants finish their games. We add equipment. Bart will also offer a special promotional 50% off on all fares on Clipper for the entire month of September. This includes the Clipper cards that are already discounted, such as the youth, senior, the regional transit card, and the Clipper Start, as well as the USF Gator Pass. Additionally, we'll have cleaner trains and stations, as well as more safety staff on our trains. I'll discuss more about these initiatives in a minute. Slide 14. Our 15-step welcome back plan already includes running long trains all day and added trains during peak hours to every 15 minutes when ridership exceeds 30 people per train car, just to ensure social distancing. I told you, extra costs. In addition, Bart has more crews cleaning our stations and trains. If you haven't been there, go check it out. We have a mask mandate that applies to both employees and customers. In fact, we've had this mandate since the beginning of the pandemic, long before the CDC and the Transit Security Administration made it a federal law. We've also installed hospital-grade MERV 14 filters on our train cars. If you don't know, the air you breathe while riding a Bart is filtered more efficiently than that in a typical office or indoor setting like a grocery store or pharmacy. With thank you. An entire train car's air is being replaced every 70 seconds, and that doesn't count the doors opening and closing every about 2 minutes between stations because we're running 75 miles an hour between them. And we're testing ultraviolet lighting in our air ducts. UV light can zap the virus before it enters the cabin of our cars. In an effort to create a contactless payment system, Bart converted all its ticket vending machines to Clipper. Now you can only purchase Clipper cards at Bart stations. About 98% of our customers are using the Clipper card. Additionally, Clipper announced that Bay Area transit riders can now add Clipper to Apple Pay and Google Pay to pay their fares with their smartphones. Additionally, the new Clipper mobile app provides convenient account management features. To encourage riders to utilize Clipper's mobile app, the $3 card acquisition fee that applies to most non-discounted fares is being waived through October 2021. Finally, we have a new way to avoid touching machines to pay for parking. Our new parking app also offers a contactless payment method. Slide number 15, please. Obviously, Bart is not the appropriate place for people experiencing homelessness to get help and services that they need to get back on their feet. That responsibility belongs to the counties, which have a budget and resources to help the unhoused. That said, Bart has just hired a manager of social services who will be developing a strategic homeless action plan. Slide 16. We've also made significant reforms to our police force. In October 2020, the Bart board formalized the Bart Police Ambassador Program. The Ambassador Program uses unarmed civilians to perform a variety of police services, such as checking to make sure everyone's paid their fare. The ambassadors receive additional de-escalation and anti-bias training. Since launching the program, riders have told us, and I've experienced a number of times, that there's a significant increase in police presence, in uniform presence on our trains. In this photo, you can see an ambassador answer a rider's questions. They wear the pale blue uniforms. Additionally, Bart Police created a new progressive policing and community engagement bureau. Their mission is to engage the Bart Police Department in leading transparent, equitable, and innovative policing practices to improve public safety across the diverse communities in which Bart serves. Even armed officers hand out masks for free. Bart has also launched a new initiative that gives riders the option to request assistance by texting Bart Police. The launch builds on the success of the Bart Watch app, which has been downloaded over 93,000 times. Finally, if you're on a train, you can also use the call buttons in the car to contact the train operator to report problems, including problems that are non-police related. Slide 17. We're also installing new fare gates to prevent fare evasion. This will help Bart recoup the estimated $20 million a year we lose to those who jump the gates. You can see the barriers on these gates are far too high to jump. Our plan is to replace all 715 of our fare gates system-wide. When the initial proposals exceeded $150 million for the project, I was really proud that Bart crews began testing our very own in-house prototype, reducing the expected costs to $90 million. Slide 18. We'll get a glimpse of how it works at the Coliseum station. The elevator to the trains at Coliseum was outside the paid fare area, and the fare payment was based on the honor system. Now, the elevator is fully enclosed by tall barriers and a newly designed fare gate prototype. Go ahead and click it. Ding, ding. I love it. It's coming to a station near you. Slide 19, please. In April, the Bart Board of Directors voted to amend our customer code of conduct to include prohibition of sexual harassment. The amendment followed the launch of the Not One More Girl initiative to send a clear message that sexual harassment has no place on Bart. Our own onboard rider survey in December showed 10% of our riders experienced sexual harassment on Bart during the previous 6 months. Bart has partnered with Alliance for Girls and its members, including the Betty Ono Gallery, Black Girls Brilliance, the Unity Council's Latinx membership and mentorship and achievement program, amongst others. The campaign combats gender-based violence and sexual harassment on transit. And it includes amending the Bart Watch app to allow reporting on sexual harassment. Download that app. Slide 20. Part of the building for a better tomorrow at Bart will require putting homes and jobs near transit. We call this transit-oriented development, TOD. The Bart Board has adopted a goal of producing over 20,000 new homes and 4.5 million square feet of commercial space on our property by 2040. Additionally, our TOD policy targets 35% of our housing to be affordable. The Coliseum TOD was our first experience with modular construction. Slide 21. You'll soon see that we're about to transform the Lake Merritt Station into a new Chinatown center of activity. High rises, commercial space, even subsidized commercial space, so that we're not bleeding those small nonprofits and businesses to go out to Manteca. Slide 22. I'm on the final run here. We're rebuilding the system. You can drop into the 19th Street station and see the improvements underway to expand the station capacity and reduce fare evasion and make it safer, cleaner. After all, it's nearly 50 years old. Slide 23. As of early June, Bart had acquired 282 of our Fleet of the Future cars, bringing our total car count to 916 of both new and legacy fleet vehicles. Our plan is to expand to over 1,000 Fleet of the Future cars. These cars have allowed us to provide that social distancing. Slide 24. I thank you for your attention. I remain available as always. I work for you. You can reach me at Rayburn@bart.gov. And I'll leave other projects like our core capacity, fair coordination, and Link 21 for a future discussion. I'm available to take any questions.
Lorna, I'm sorry, but I don't think we have time for questions, but I'm sure Robert is glad to stay afterwards. And Sandeepa, will you especially let Jack and Gabe know if there's any questions online that perhaps people can ask too. So thank you, Robert. This year we are highlighting a Rotary area focus of the environment. In your honor, we're making a donation to the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group called SRAG towards the focus on biodiversity, sustainable living, pollution, the climate, food systems, and a circular economy. Thank you for being part of our Civic Thursday Club meeting. Robert, I would offer you one of the 100-year centennial books too. My hunch is you have 2 or 3 of them already, but if you don't, I will give you one. Thank you. Thank you, Robert, for being with us. Robert Kidd, you have a mic over here. Would you please tell us about next week's speaker?
Hello, President Dudley. It's a shocking fact that the Bay Area, our home, is more segregated today than it was 75 years ago. Our speaker next week will talk about how that came to pass and what we can do about it. Steve Menendian is the lead author of a study published just last month by the University of California, Roots of Structural Racism, Residential Segregation in America. Right here, well, not right here in the California Ballroom, but right on Zoom next week, Oakland Rotary, and bring a friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. So a couple of announcements before we close up here. First of all, this Saturday is our service project opportunity. It's up in Roberts Park, the police athletic lead the camp. Please, if you go online, there is a sign up for it. It's from 9 till noon Saturday morning, sponsored by the Community Service Committee. It's the PALS Camp Cleanup. Probably all you need to do is maybe bring a pair of gloves and show up. A great opportunity. Then Sunday, the day after, there's a bike ride sponsored by High Adventure. The bike ride is one of those easy peasy things that Mark talks about from Point Richmond to Larkspur. It's from 9:30 in the morning till 1, and they meet at the East Brothers Brewery in Point Richmond. Again, go online, you can sign up there. Don't forget, August 27th is our A's-Yankees game, evening game and we say fireworks, but as I understand, it's a big drone show. If you've been watching the Olympics, you see these fantastic things they're doing with drones these days. Please sign up for that. It's coming up. I think there's like 30 or 40 tickets still available. They are going fast, and I believe there'll be a tailgate party. Finally, next week, and people, I realize it's confusing, but we'll try to keep saying it over and over and put it on media and the like. How we meet next week is an all Zoom meeting. Don't come to the ballroom, but the following week, please come to the ballroom. We're going to have a little party on our first meeting coming back in August, and we will be meeting here and, of course, hybrid on Zoom. If you come at 11:30 instead of 12, we'll have some treats and maybe some music and a chance for fellowship. So, always invite a friend to Rotary, but invite a Rotarian friend to come back. We want to start filling up the ballroom, and there's a good attendance here today. It's nice to see a lot of faces. I realize over time that there will be reluctance by some to come back for a while, and also offering hybrid, it's a new world where this will be what we do in the future. But please come starting, August 12th will be our first meeting back in the ballroom. Pete, Sandeep, Deep, would you please go to the back of the room, and as people leave, they greet you. Go ahead. Thank you. So finally, Robert, thank you for teasing the speaker. Were there any volunteers other than me? Sandeepa? Just me. Okay, we got one. And bell ringer is a generous donation on my part to the Rotary endowment. So we are always welcome to those. Thank you, Sed, for the thought for the day. Welcome, Deep and Peter, to our Rotary Club. John, if you're still out there, thanks for presenting Kinder Prep. Fred, Karen, and Gail, and especially Gail and Karen for sponsoring the awards for the teachers, and so much thank you for the teachers for coming today and those that are online. Thank you, Scott, Robert, and all of the greeters, mic runners, and club service. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Remember, we are Rotary. Serve to help others, and don't keep Rotary a secret. This meeting is adjourned.